Today we're going to talk about content upgrades and why you need them. Why are we talking about those today? Because I think it is going to take over in terms of 2018. I think that is the number one way that people are going to be doing list building. And if you are an online business, whether that's a coach or a blogger or anything else, this is how you are going to be able to grow your list. And in order to be able to create those content upgrades, you're going to want to be able to use InDesign, and that's the tool that I specialize in. So stay tuned. We're going to talk a lot more about content upgrades, how to use them, and what they're good for. Hi, I'm Lisa from Pretty Fabulous Designs, and I help online business owners create beautiful digital downloads using Adobe InDesign. Now, if this sounds like something you might be interested in, whether you're an online business or a coach or a blogger, then make sure to hit the subscribe button below. I post new videos every Monday and Thursday. Now, today we're going to be talking about content upgrades, and I'm going to tell you exactly what they are, why they're important, how they can boost your list, and leave you with some tips on how to do it effectively. Now, content upgrades are always part of a blog post, a Facebook maybe mini post, or a podcast, or even a video like this YouTube one where you already have a very captive audience. So the reason content upgrades are so much more powerful than lead magnets is because content upgrades are already an audience that has been searching for you, whether they are a subscriber and they saw the title of your article, or they just found that article, or you through an SEO search. They were specifically looking for the answer that you're providing to their problem or the answer to their question. And because of this, they are very much interested in what you can provide them, either as a cheat sheet, a list, or some other useful type of information. Now, if you've never heard of lead pages, they're huge, and lead pages are an excellent, it's an excellent tool and a really great company. And you'll hear Clay Collins say the number one way that they were able to grow so quickly is because of content upgrades. The same thing with Pat Flynn, who's really huge. He said he saw a 500% boost in email opt-ins when he switched over to using content upgrades. Brian Dean from Linkbacker said he saw a 785% increase in opt-ins and conversions when he switched over to content upgrades. Now, that's another thing that we didn't talk about, and that's conversion rates, because sometimes people you'll notice will opt into your lead magnets, but maybe they won't hit the button because later on maybe they didn't really need that specific piece of information, because on your website you were kind of just, I don't want to say trolling, but you're kind of guessing what a visitor to your website might be interested in. Versus a content upgrade, they're specifically there for that particular subject matter that you are talking about. Another huge advantage that content upgrades have over traditional lead magnets is they won't annoy your customers or your website visitors. I know a lot of people are saying that there is a higher conversion rate when people see pop-ups, and possibly that might be true, but I know I get annoyed. I will just click off of a website. It really annoys me when that comes up in my face. And also, Google has changed their parameters, so they are penalizing sites that do have those pop-ups that make for a negative experience for users. So what's the best way to deliver your content upgrades in your blog post or on your podcast or anywhere else is to make sure that it's very super obvious. Now, when we simply just talk about blog posts alone, they've done studies where people read maybe 20% of an entire blog post. So make sure that your content upgrade isn't more text. Make sure it's an actual physical image, and it also has kind of a preview of what they're going to see, as well as if you were using a pop-up, which is what I use with lead pages. I use a lead box. It pops up an image, and I make sure that it matches exactly with the lead box that they saw inside the blog post. The second part is make sure it's relevant. So don't give a content upgrade about something that has nothing to do with the particular blog post that you are writing or the podcast that you are talking about. Make sure it's directly related to that exact subject matter. The next thing is to make sure it's valuable. So don't simply give, let's say, I see a lot of transcript downloads, and I don't know that those are very valuable. I think that a more valuable thing would be a condensed list, a summary, or the major bullet points if you have to do that type of a format, or possibly resources that you've mentioned in your blog post. So how can we do this effectively? The number one thing that they have found is that if it pops up, it's a pop-up, so you'll click download now and a pop-up will appear and people will want to put their name and their email in to receive that content upgrade. When it's simply a static image where you're putting your name and your email, for whatever reason, people are less likely to want to put that information into a static box versus a pop-up, so that's something to think about. The second is to write a really good headline. Just because it is a content upgrade and you have a captive audience doesn't mean they still want to click on it automatically. You have to entice them. Next, make sure it's visually appealing. So make an eye-catching button. So if your entire article is in, let's say, black and white, and your button is black and white, it probably isn't going to stand out as much as a blue button, a yellow, a green, a pink, whatever color you may choose. The other thing is to make sure you have quality over quantity. So I see a lot of people with lead magnets or something else where they're delivering a 400 or 300 page ebook, and I can confirm nobody wants that. Even though you think you're giving a lot of value, that simply means to me, especially because I'm an author, that you have not been able to succinctly articulate the points that you are trying to convey to that person, and instead you're just kind of blabbing on and on like a big long diary. Also, make sure to give that content upgrade more than once. And I know that sounds a little weird, but they found that articles, blog posts specifically, where you have given that opportunity at both the beginning and the end, or maybe the beginning and the middle, have a 315% higher conversion rate than those that do not, because once they're scrolling past, maybe at the beginning, they're not really sold on whether or not they want that content upgrade, or possibly they get to the end and they forgot about the content upgrade because they wanted to read that entire article. I think that goes triple-fold, especially when you are doing audio, especially on podcasts. People will probably skip through. I know I skip through podcasts all the time. That's even if I can stand to listen to one. And the same thing goes for a video. So you want to flash something big up on the screen so that they can see it and they can see that there is a content upgrade to remember to download it. So we've learned that content upgrades are hyper-specific to the particular blog post or podcast or video that you are referring to. They should help entice your readers to click on them by making them just as attractive as your headlines or any other visual piece of content that you're putting onto your website. They should also be put in repeatedly into a blog post, and they are also great ways to convert new users and have a higher conversion rates for those that opt in. And obviously, an excellent way to create a beautiful content upgrade is with Adobe InDesign. So I will see you guys next week, and we will have more tutorials and videos to help you with your online business. All right.